We walked in, it was books.
There was and then there was a fucking guy with like a magnifying glass reading a book, and he's like all like old and ancient, and he's like reading the book, and he's looking at us like, "What do you want?"
And I swear to God, and he turns around and he's like, "We're in the Neverending store."
Welcome back, everyone, to the Tequila Jimmy and the Gringa Show, where we discuss everything and anything pop culture. I'm your host, Tequila Jimmy, along with my beautiful sidekick, La Gringa.
Hi, everybody.
Today, we're taking you on an enchanting journey to the world of Fantasia, the realm of fantasy and adventure. You guys got to know this place. It's definitely one of my, if not my favorite childhood movie ever. And we're talking, of course, about
the Neverending Story.
I am so fond of this movie. It's a beautifully shot movie. The cinematography is beautiful. The story's great. And we're going to talk all about it with you guys today. But before we start, as customary, we pour ourselves a little drink. We meet our little green friend. And then we enjoy the show. So anyway, let's start. Let's start at the very beginning with this. So the Neverending Story is a movie that was shot in 1984, right? Was it 84?
1984, and it was based on adaptation of a novel
by
the
Michael
same name.
Ende.
Of the same name, The Neverending Story.
It was written in 1979 originally, and the book is quite more elaborate than the movie.
Like any other book to movie
right.
is.
It's like if you read The Lord of the Rings, you know, they did the best they could with it. But
Harry Potter
this
too.
is no different. Yeah. Harry Potter, yeah. This is no different. The movie is one cool thing about the movie is that for one thing, it was shot in Germany, and you watched this movie as a kid and you would have never known it was a foreign film. You know,
I knew. No, you could tell.
I did. I couldn't.
I could tell. There was like, when I watched the movie, I was always like, that in America. You could just tell it had that, like, it just felt older.
I don't know. Like, everybody felt like they were American. I don't know. To me, I guess I wasn't paying attention to that. I was so, like, into the story and the way that the movie was just so beautifully shot.
I don't know. It felt
produced.
like Switzerland or something.
Yeah. The film was the screenplay was written by the director, which was Wolfgang Petersen. He did mostly German films, but he also did a few notable American films, such as The Perfect Storm,
Air Force One,
and Outbreak. Right? Outbreak, which is an awesome movie.
Those are three great movies. The Perfect Storm. That
three
was
really awesome movies. I mean, there's not a stinker in that lot. So.
No, but yeah, when we were looking at his IMDb, it was it's tons of German films. But yeah, and then all of a sudden I saw these American films, and I was like, ooh.
He's very respected in the film industry too. So he's somebody that a lot of people go to for advice even. So anyway,
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the music.
The music,
I guess.
The score.
Yeah. So before we get into the story, let's talk a little bit about the music. It had a really popular theme song, which I got tempted to give us a sample of in the beginning of the show. But
I love that song. It was so fun. Every single time we watch it, have to sing it.
Yeah. Well, like the movie and the song go together.
Yeah, it does.
They're married.
The score was.
It was done by Klaus. What is his name? Klaus Doldinger?
Doldinger. Never heard that name before.
I never can pronounce his name.
The
Klaus
one,
Doldinger.
The other
and
guy.
Giorgio Moroder, who is like a legend. Giovanni Giorgio, who is, responsible for a lot of scores like Scarface.
I honestly have never heard the guy's name before until you.
Yeah.
And now it's like I know who Giorgio
Giorgio is
are.
a legend. He actually is like known as the godfather of dance music.
Modern dance.
He was the one that initially started putting click tracks on beats so that he could sync rhythms. So he came up with like the modern
click
that you get on a metronome, for dance music. It was his thing. He actually was honored by Daft Punk, which is of course one of the best when it comes to like mixing and DJing and stuff like that.
It's a good song.
It's a great song. It's called Giorgio by Moto there, and it was on Random Access Memories. That's the name of the album.
It's a good song.
It's a really good song. An awesome song.
And what they do is like they're interviewing Giorgio, and they turn it into a song, and it's such great. And they just like.
And from what I understood, that he didn't even know they were going to make a song about it. He just gave an interview. And they used that interview to create the song. It's very interesting, and you guys should check it out.
Cool.
It's called Giorgio by Moroder.
Giorgio by Moroder.
Yeah, his name is Giorgio Moroder. He goes by Giovanni Giorgio.
Giovanni Giorgio.
My name is Giovanni Giorgio,
but everybody calls me
Giorgio.
Giorgio.
Yeah,
part of the song.
Yeah, he did Top Gun. Flashdance. He's responsible. Over the Top, which we spoke about on our last show.
The Canon
Films episode. If you missed it, go check it out.
Now, with Giorgio Moroder, when we started watching the Neverending Story, he's like, oh, he does the music for this. And then Scarface, another one we watch all the time.
Scarface, you guys know that crazy opening theme.
Really great song. And we were going through his credits again, and he saw Flashdance. And Flashdance, I listen to every single time we work out. And you can hear it. You can hear that lady.
She played some of that stuff for me today. And, it totally sounds like him.
Totally. Yeah. So he's got a very, very, very signature sound. So when you hear,
he wrote
Scarface.
He wrote. There's the music in the Neverending Story is beautifully orchestrated and composed. And he also wrote the theme song, which was sung by Lemal, which was the lead singer of a band called Kaja Gugu in the 80s. And they had a hit that was like, yo, to sha-sha, hush, hush, I-do-I, yo, to sha-sha. You guys have heard that song. But yeah, he's the guy who sang the song. And
anytime I get a chance to sing,
anytime you get a chance to sing,
I'm going to do it.
We're all over it.
I am on it.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know that the song was sung by a man. Until like a few years ago.
The Kaja Gugu Shy Shy?
Yeah. No, not that one. The Neverending Story.
I thought it was a guy and a girl.
It sounds like a man. Like a woman the entire time.
I thought it was a guy and a girl singing that song.
Well, there is a girl in it too. She does the background,
so you thought it was two girls.
Exactly. I thought the lead vocal was also a woman for years, and I couldn't believe it. When I found out it was Lemal, I was like, and the reason I found out it was Lemal, I was like, I was probably like in my mid 30s when I found out it was Lemal, and I was watching an episode of Bands Reunited.
Yeah.
Where they reunited Kaja Gugu, and he was talking about the Neverending Story and how he sang the song, and I was
so you never seen the video, Neverending Story, the music video?
I had, but I guess I forgot it. Because when I saw it again, I totally remember the guy's hair and stuff.
Yeah.
He had that crazy hair.
Super 80s. Super 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how like the movie starts off. If you guys remember, anybody who watched, I mean, I would think we all watched the movie. My 20-year-old nephew said that he watched it with his dad, my ex brother-in-law. So, any age, we're 47.
Yeah.
And now you got a 20-year-old watching it, and I'm sure my 10-year-old niece has watched it, and nephew have watched it.
It's a beautiful
Your
movie.
Kids have watched it.
As a child, it really opens up the gates for imagination.
Just imagination.
The movie deals with it's basically about a kid who reads a story and becomes a part of the story. It's the summary.
It's imagining, like, because we all read books. Well, hopefully we all read books here. But I'm the type of person that when I'm reading a book, I am in it, in the story. Nothing else is going on. Like, I can see it going on and happening in my mind, and it just takes me to another place, which is why I used to always read a lot when I was a kid. You read a lot when you were a kid too.
I love reading, and I was a big comic book fan, but I also read a lot of novels, a lot of Stephen King.
And a lot of, you read the Wizard of Oz book, and then
I would read a lot of random books.
Yeah, we read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So, that when you're reading a really great book, you become part of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this movie is about.
Yeah.
Or I should say the book. What the book is about is becoming part of
the book is a lot
story.
more elaborate, just like The Lord of the Rings. Like if you read The Lord of the Rings
and Harry Potter,
it's very apparent what they left out of the movie.
Yeah.
And in this, it's no different, but the one thing is Michael Ende, the guy who wrote the Neverending Story in 1979, he was on set the entire time they were making the movie and everything, but he was not happy with the end result at all.
Yeah, we saw a couple articles about it, and then we decided not to read into it because we really don't give a shit what he
exactly.
thinks
I don't give a fuck
of
what
the
you
movie.
think. This movie rules.
Yeah,
Shut
the
up.
movie is awesome. I don't give a shit what you think of it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
he's
like,
like, I think we saw it where he said, it looks like a slap in the face of of what I wrote.
Yeah.
Like, get
He's
out
just
of
being
here.
an old.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I went like that at the same
looked like you did
Yeah,
it.
I leaned over at the same time.
Yeah,
that was perfect timing. But yeah, I didn't even want to read it because I didn't need the negativity. I didn't want the negativity in my life because I actually love the movie and I don't give a shit what he says.
Exactly. Nobody does.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, he wrote the story, he did an awesome job doing it. But the movie, let's talk about the movie because that's what this is about. The movie, first, before we even start discussing the plot of the movie and everything that happens in the movie, I just want to talk about how beautiful this movie looks.
It starts right in the beginning when you have the music.
You just have the music and these purple
beautiful
sky,
clouds, kind of like
these
what we
clouds.
have behind us.
Yeah, like these clouds here, but only
You
like
know.
the sky is purple.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and the one thing about the movie is when you see it as a kid, when you're like, you know, maybe anywhere between 8 and 12 years old, it really sucks you in and your imagination.
You're
It
on a
lets your
journey.
imagination
Yeah.
just go wild. You know,
Yeah.
it's the best way to describe it. And this movie was one of the most expensive movies ever shot at the time in Germany. It was shot in Bavaria Studios. Bavaria Studios. That's right. And it's a studio in Munich, Germany. And they're a pretty big studio. They're like Universal Studios is like the equivalent of Universal Studios
Right
here.
here.
So, you know, this was a very expensive film to shoot. And you can tell when you see it that they spared no expense to try to make it as good as they could with the technology that was available at the time.
A lot of special effects. There's a lot of creatures in the movie, and I don't know. They were just great animatronics. I think the animatronics are so great.
Yeah, no, and the puppeteering.
The puppeteering is amazing.
So the movie, let's talk about the movie finally and what it's about. Okay, so the movie is about a
Fantasia.
It's about Fantasia, which is a place, and in the book it was called Fantastica, which I'm so glad they called it Fantasia in the movie.
Fantastica.
Fantastica. It doesn't go well. I don't know.
Fantasia is more.
Yeah, it'll always be Fantasia to me.
Sparks imagination.
But Fantasia is in trouble because Fantasia has a natural destructive force coming at it called the Nothing.
The Nothing.
Which is eating up the land. It's just basically imagine like a wall of destruction that's just eating.
Just a very mysterious, destructive
shapeless,
force.
dark void that consumes everything in its path.
Yes.
And the book has a lot of connotations and hidden meanings in it, and
everybody tries to explain it. Like there's the rock biter, and he says something about how it just comes and takes everything, and then the Morla.
Morla, which is the tur, which we'll explain when we get there.
But everybody tries to explain it, and what basically the Nothing is the absence of imagination.
Right.
The absence
That's what it
hope.
represents in real life. So the absence of imagination. So, and Fantasia is a place that can only exist with people who with enough people that believe that it exists.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you don't believe in me, I'm going to start fading away. We've seen movies like that before, right?
Santa Claus.
Yeah, Santa Claus.
It's Santa
There's been a
Claus.
lot of movies
like
with
if
that
you
theme.
don't, an elf.
That's true. That's right.
If you don't believe in
Elf,
Santa,
that's true.
He
That's a great example.
can't fly.
Right.
So it's the same thing. If you don't believe in Fantasia will not exist.
Right, exactly. So it's based on the there's enough people that believe that it exists in order for it to go on. So this is part of the story
and the Nothing is taking over because mankind has lost its imagination, has lost that.
Yeah, so the Nothing represents the fact that nobody's giving a shit about Fantasia anymore.
Yeah.
And little by little Fantasia is crumbling. So to save Fantasia, of course, we need people to believe in it. And the only way to do that is to bring an earthling child, which is the person reading the Neverending Story, into the story in some way, shape, or form, which will reform Fantasia or at least save
Exactly.
it from the destruction of the nothing. So
And
there's
the book is written where it's in two different colors.
that's
It's
a
got
really
the
good point. Yeah.
you have the imagination, which is the fantasy story, and then you have the reality, and which is Bastion's, the kid reading the book.
Which we're gonna show you something later on to that
Yes.
extent. But it's going back to the movie. They know that the nothing is coming to destroy everything, so they have to hire, not really, I wouldn't say hire because he's not paid, but they have to, I guess, recruit a warrior by the name of Atreyu.
Atreyu.
Who is part of indigenous people that hunt the purple
buffalo.
Yeah, the purple buffalo.
Yes.
And
he is the strongest warrior within his tribe. He I guess he kills the most.
And when you see Atreyu, the last thing you expect is this little kid. He's
first you see the reaction, Bash, the kid who's watching, the kid who's reading the book, and he, get to it, and I guess Atreyu's walking through the door, and Bastion's like,
Yeah. Speaking of Bastion, we should have mentioned him before. Bastion is the kid who. The movie starts off, which we just went right into Fantasia. We should have given you a little bit of a history of how it happens.
Yes.
So he basically is a kid who's getting bullied, and he's running away from some kids, and he runs into a bookstore. And he runs into a bookstore with an old man who is, telling him, why are you letting these kids bully you? Why don't you give them a good punch in the nose?
Yes. And the man, he's got this bookstore where there's like books like a mile high
you can't even see
around him.
There's books all around him, look like buildings.
He's got like this old leather couch. There was a little town in Florida, McCanopy or something.
Oh my God, I remember that.
McCanopy,
Fuck.
I forget what the
I walked in there and I was like, I am in the fucking Neverending story.
We walked in and it was books.
There was and then there was a fucking guy with like a magnifying glass reading a book, and he's like all like old and ancient, and he's like reading the book, and he's looking at us like, what do you want?
And I swear to God, and he turns around and he's like, we're in the Neverending story.
I'm like, we're in the fucking, this guy does not want, he's like all grumpy and shit that we're in there.
Like there.
Buy something.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was crazy, but it was like that, just mile high of books.
Yeah. Another old...
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, it was interesting because it really felt like I'd walked into that bookstore. It's hard to describe. There was freaking cobwebs that were like thick in the corners.
Yes.
And then there's books stacked up high everywhere.
Yes.
And the guy's giving us the side eye look like, oh, what do you want? We don't like your can here. that kind of guy. That kind of guy,
yeah. What are you doing here?
I felt like I walked into the Mos Eisley Cantina for a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the kid goes and he's reading a book and everything, and the old man's like, yeah, you don't read, come on, you're a kid, you don't read. And Bastion's all like, yes I do, I've read, what is it,
have you ever been Captain Nemo?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy he's like, have you ever been Captain Nemo and been squashed by an octopus in a submarine or something like that?
Yeah, and the kid's like, I know what you're talking about.
Long story short, he tells him about the book though. He
Yeah.
shows him the book and he's like, you don't want to read this book, this book's too much for you. He sees the book and it's this really thick book with the Orin symbol, which ironically I am a huge fan of the Neverending Story, as I mentioned, and this is proof. It's on my arm. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is
for
the Orin
everybody
symbol.
listening on the podcast. Tequila Jimmy has the Orin tattooed on the
my
inside
forearm,
of his forearm,
and I'm also wearing the T-shirt.
And he's got a T-shirt with the Orin, and he's got a necklace with the Orin that we found
I'm
at.
a die-hard, and like I said, when I say it's my favorite childhood movie,
it's his favorite childhood.
I
movie.
just saw it 2 times back to back. That's how much I love it, and I was like this on it. I love that movie.
Like
that
the
much.
last podcast, we talked about how we watch Electric Boogaloo. Yeah. We watch Bloodsport. Like we watch these movies over and over and over and over.
The feels I get when I watch it, because
now
it's just
Neverending Story.
Yeah.
We watch at least, I don't know what, every 2 weeks.
I don't know. It's great. I just sometimes
just
I
like-
need to put it on because
Yeah.
even I use it kind of as like a sedative to go to sleep.
It's a background thing.
Yeah,
like
I put
sometimes,
it on and it's like
yeah, we've played Magic, the little card game, Magic the Gathering, and we'll have Neverending Story just playing in the background.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a good, like background music. So it's
the
just
cool thing about the Neverending Story is that it crosses the world of fantasy and reality. So
Yeah.
the two worlds coexist, and it's almost like one world cannot exist without the other. And I'll give you like a spoiler. It's not really a
Spoiler
spoiler.
alert.
The reason it's called the Neverending Story is because the experiences that you're having right now in this real world, somebody is reading about, and they're experiencing your life through a book. So it's the never-ending story in the sense that everybody's story is a story for somebody else.
Yes.
And that's what keeps stories alive, is the fact that somebody is indulging in them and partaking in reading them. Because if they fold them and never put them away, that's what happens to Fantasia, is the nothing comes
The nothing comes.
and destroys it.
So you always have to read and have your imagination run wild sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, don't think too much, because we do meditate and we don't think too much.
So
But-
back to the movie. Let's go back to the movie because, like I
Yes.
said, they recruit Atreyu, and when he shows up, there's an empress that is called. She's the childlike empress, and she lives in the ivory tower,
In the ivory tower.
which is a beautifully shot
It's
tower
so
as
beautiful.
well. You guys
it's
gotta
kind
see
of
it.
like a Georgia O'Keeffe painting come to life. That's
Yes.
how I think of it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
very-
beautiful flower.
Yeah.
And it's white.
She
ivory.
basically rules and looks after all the people of Fantasia.
And
That's
then
her-
Fantasia, the people of Fantasia kind of remind me of the capital people from the Hunger Games. Like they're all really weird looking. Like they have like three heads, very jack of clubs, like just
they're the originals.
yeah, just just have your imagination run wild, and that's kind of like the people that inhabit the world of Fantasia.
Yeah. So the childlike empress, like I said, oversees Fantasia. She takes care of the people there.
Yes.
She tries to help everyone, but she has become ill due to the fact that the nothing has begun to destroy Fantasia, and she is directly connected with the nothing.
Yes, like the more than nothing takes over, the sicker she becomes.
Yeah. So Atreyu's job is to try to find a cure for the childlike empress,
Yes.
and thus putting an end to the nothing.
Now, there's a lot of themes going on in the movie. You have the courage of the journey that Atreyu is on, because Atreyu, even though he's like 12 years old, he is such a courageous kid. So there's courage.
Courage, yeah.
Then there's friendship between him and his horse.
Artax!
And and all the people of Fantasia kind of there's a lot of themes going on there, which is just makes it such a great kid movie.
Yeah, it really is.
And
it really is. He's so close with his horse, and of course, the horse is part of the worst scene. One of the worst scenes in film history, according to a lot of people.
Childhood trauma
Yeah,
for
childhood
a lot
trauma.
of,
We're gonna talk about that, of course.
and we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I want to go in order here. So back to
Yes.
Atreyu. Atreyu needs to go on a quest to find a cure to save the childlike empress and put an end to the nothing and save Fantasia and the people of Fantasia. He is handed an amulet called the Orin, which I showed you on my arm. And the Orin actually represents, there's two snakes that are eating each other if you look at it. And I will put a better picture of it for you guys to look at if you're on YouTube watching
Yeah,
this.
the snakes are both eating each other's tails.
Yeah. And one snake represents the
Reality.
world of reality and the world of fantasy. The other one represents the world of fantasy. So that's really cool how they
Like
did
the
that.
yin and yang.
Yeah, and that was that's what's bound on the book. And you know what? Speaking of the book, let's just stop right now and show them.
Toy. It's our.
This is
our
this version of Toy Time
Toy Time.
because there aren't really any toys made for the Neverending Story other than like what is it, like pottery plants or something?
Oh yeah, I saw on, like, if you go on Amazon, they have Falcor, the magic or the luck dragon, but it's really expensive and it actually looks kind of janky.
Oh no, but that's like
Looks
the Chinese.
super-
That's not good.
It's janky.
Have you
janky.
read the reviews on that? They're like, don't buy this shit.
Yeah, don't buy it. It's super janky. But yeah,
Super
that's the
fucking janky.
only thing that
Yeah.
I've seen really that I don't know the word.
No,
but
and like I know the little plant thing where artifacts.
yes,
and,
I know. Pottery have
Yeah,
like,
they just there's not a whole lot of licensed merchandise. Let's go back. So
yeah.
I'm going to show you guys for Toy Time today. It's kind of a special edition of Toy Time because it's not really a toy, but it is the Neverending Story book, and this is what it looked like in the movie. Only it was a little bit bigger. It was like about this big and a little bit thicker in the movie. But this is the actual story, and it's the original story, the way it's written. And
so it has the different colors.
I got a little bookmark here.
little
It says the
bookmark.
Never-ending Story. Yes, and I also have.
Even though
you can
he
show
didn't
that.
take it out, even though he didn't take it out from the library, the book library, it still comes with like a library card with Bastion, Balzar.
Yeah, this is like
books.
a little custom made Never-ending Story to make it look. These are 3D printed. The Orin is 3D printed on it. This was gifted to me by La Gringa.
Yay! I think I got it for your birthday.
Yes, and I love it. And I'm going to actually, I've read bits and pieces of it, but I'm going to sit down and read the entire book because, like she mentioned, look how cool this is. So, like you see, some of the text here is red, and some of the text is green. So, like this is the stuff that's happening in the Neverending Story in Fantasia. Okay, and then this is the stuff that's happening with Bastion.
Yeah.
While he's, this is the stuff that's happening.
Yeah,
to
the red
him.
is in red
And
is
this is all the
Bastion,
stuff happening in
and the green
Fantasia.
is
So
Fantasia.
when you watch the movie, pay attention to when Bastion is reading the book,
Yes.
and you will see that his text is red, and it's red and green.
Oh
and
yeah, in the movie, it's like
identical.
it's two different things. Like he's reading that book, which is crazy. Which we have to read the book. But
So Atreyu is given the Orin,
by Corian,
which is a
Carrion,
centaur. Yeah,
Carrion.
Carrion, which is a centaur. He gives him the Orin to protect him on his quest.
This is the if you look on if you're on one of the podcasts and you're listening and you want to check out the actual cover of the Neverending Story book on the YouTube, come see our YouTube page because this is the front, and then it says, "To whomever finds this book in their possession, may you find the magic within, like Bastion did."
Yes, Bastion. Yeah.
Nice.
We're going to talk about the actors later, but Bastion is a really great character in the sense that, he really didn't have much going for him.
No, his mom
until
passed
he came
away.
his mom passed away. His dad was trying to do the best he could raising him. And he came across this, he went to school and got his ass kicked, got his lunch money taken every day.
They threw him in the dumpster.
Yeah.
They took him and threw him in the dumpster.
Yeah, he didn't have a good life, but when he came across this book, he became a hero.
Yeah.
So it changed his life, and just the moral of the story as a kid. If you watch this movie and if you're one of these kids that is going through this, right now,
where you feel
like
alone,
and that you don't have any friends or somebody's like being mean to you. There are ways for you to like disconnect from that bullshit and become something amazing.
Because if you don't feel like you fit in, if you feel like you're alone, if you feel like a loner, I would.
The movie had had an amazing array of characters. There was this humongous thing called the rock biter. He was made of rocks, ironically enough, and he ate rocks.
And they did great puppeteering on it.
Amazing.
We saw a little bit of like behind the scenes work on that.
The fantasy work in this movie is amazing because it's like the characters they came up with. There was, like I said, there was this huge guy who rides this big rock bike. And he eats rocks, these big boulders. He's a rock biter.
He's huge as a mountain, and he eats limestone.
Yeah, and then
I don't know why I remember that.
There's this little Indian dude that rides a snail.
A little guy.
Yeah, and he's a racing snail, so the snail hauls ass. Snails are known for being slow.
Super slow. It's like Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah, and then there's this other ugly motherfucker that flies around in a bat.
Yes,
on a bat.
On a bat. It's like the night.
And the bat's like always asleep and shit. So yeah, the characters are really cool.
So
they look
cute.
cool. And above all, this is before the time of CGI, so you really appreciate what they tried to do with this movie. The way it looks is beautiful, and it's not even something that they had a lot of tech for. It was all just created.
But it's very believable. I think
believable.
it's very believable. All the characters, the makeup work and everything was just, it brought me to the movie as I was a kid and as an adult. Like we were watching earlier today and we watched last night, and just never get sick of the movie. But I'm looking and I was like, and I didn't want to say this at the time, but I kind of thought Falkor was a real thing when I was a kid. Like, I do, because I don't know. I thought he was real. And I thought
Falkor's awesome. I want a luck dragon.
I want a luck dragon, but I thought he was a dog.
We haven't even gotten to Falkor yet. These guys are like, who the fuck is Falkor?
But but I'm just saying the animatronic on it was so wild that I thought they did a good work. I thought it was a real
thing. The puppeteering, the film looks amazing. That's the point of this whole podcast. Is this the look of this film on top of the fact that the story's great and it will make you feel. It's to highlight this movie and how. I don't think it's underrated. I just think everybody should watch it. I think everybody's heard of it, and I don't think there's many people that have watched the Neverending Story and called it a shitty movie.
No,
so I don't really. I think that it's known to be just beautifully produced, written, direct. Everything about it is awesome.
Bring that nostalgic feeling back to you.
That's right. That's what this shit's all about.
We are very nostalgic-holics.
Nostalgia-holics.
I mean, I collect Barbies from
I collect
the 80s.
everything. I mean. Shit.
I know he got me into the collection bug, and I do the Fisher Price from the 70s.
The little people.
And it's just a great feeling. Like I just, all over the house having, and then we watch all the movies from the 80s. So we love that if you guys tune in here that we bring that nostalgic feeling.
Oh, yes. I love the nostalgia.
Yes. Like when we were kids, like I hope you guys all remember how you felt when you watched the Neverending Story for the first time.
I know. I would love to know in the comments if anybody has any memories of watching the Neverending Story for the first time, and if you were like, wow, awestruck, or if it made you feel anything,
or if you're our age and you showed it to your children for the first time what they thought of it.
Yes.
I'm sure they thought it was amazing. Your kids thought it was amazing.
Back to the movie.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, let's go back to the movie. Anyway, so Atreyu is going to be sent on this quest. He's given the Aron to protect him from harm. And they don't really tell him where he has to go. They're like, where am I? He's like, where am I going? He's like, you'll know where to go. The Aron's going to guide you. You're going to go. Everything's fine. So he heads out. Him and his horse, Artax, are the only two. And another condition of the quest is he has to leave all his weapons behind. He has to go just him and Artax and the clothes on his back and nothing else.
No arrows, no bow and arrow, no nothing.
So he has to leave all his weapons. So he takes all his weapons. He's like, let's go. And he takes off. So he has to go through this place called the Swamp of Sorrows. And as you can imagine, it's a pretty sad place. Imagine like a really depressing swamp full of fog. Zero sunlight gets through. You hear stuff like this when you're walking through it.
It's just sad. A very sad place.
It is. It's not a good place to have to go through. But the worst part about the Swamp of Sorrows,
I don't like this now,
is that it makes you sad.
It makes you sad. And there's one point where,
and this is where we come to the most traumatic childhood scene
of all time
that somebody could ever go.
Like, I don't know why anybody.
When this scene is over, this is going to be you. That's going to be, I promise you, that's going to be you. After you see this scene.
Your face off. Now, every single time we watch it, because we watch it all the time.
She has to cover her face.
I close my eyes and I close my ears and I hum. Because if I don't hum, I could hear, oh my God, I'm going to start crying. Oh my God. I can hear Atreyu screaming.
I can hear you right there.
Artax. Where he just goes,
Artax! You're sinking! Artax, you're sinking!
You're sinking, Artax! Oh my God, I can't watch it.
So yeah, Artax, they're going to the Swamp of Sorrows, and in the Swamp of Sorrows, if you let the sadness overtake you, which is what happened to our poor Artax. Artax,
he couldn't go on.
He just gave up.
He gave up.
The sadness was overwhelming, and now the sadness he succumbed to the sadness. So he sunk quicksand. He basically started sinking slowly. Atreyu starts screaming. Atreyu's like, Artax, no! It's like the worst scene because he's a kid losing his only friend.
It's just like in front of his face, and he can't save his animal. Oh, stop it! Oh my God! And the worst thing, okay, guys, if you Google Atreyu and Artax plant. or like
Planter.
Planter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Atreyu and Artax Planter. They have it where you'll see. They have it where the horse.
You just look at the picture of the planter and you're like,
it's so true.
That's hilarious.
It's so true.
It's funny that
I hate that so much. Anyway,
I mean, it's a really sad scene. Yes,
I know that scene does not exist in my world.
So, spoiler alert: we lose Artax.
Yes, we lose Artax.
We lose Artax, and Artax succumbs to the Swamp of Sorrows. And then,
but, as Artreo is going through, and he is, no, not yet. We're not going to get there yet.
No,
I almost got excited, but no,
no.
So,
there's one entity that was hired to try to stop Atreyu's quest and allow the Nothing to destroy Fantasia, and that is a wolf by the name of Gamork. Gamork is a really mean, nasty, and really...
He looks like to me, he looks like the werewolf from London.
He is really mean
like
looking. Like this guy, he shows you his fangs and you do not want to fuck with this guy.
He's got upper fangs and lower fangs. He's got, upper fangs and lower fangs. And then these rigid teeth, upper teeth and lower teeth.
And Gamork's sole purpose is to stop Atreyu from finding the cure to save the childlike empress and thus save Fantasia.
Yeah, because Gamork wants the Nothing to happen.
He wants the Nothing to destroy Fantasia.
Yes.
And he wants to go down with the ship too. He's like, I want to die with that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't want you saving Fantasia.
Yeah, we
don't
Gamork
like him. Gamork has
he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he's already kind of like begun hunting Atreyu in the beginning of the quest.
Yeah,
so
like that when Atreyu and Artax are going, Gamork is already like trying to find them. I forgot what you call him. He's trying to tail.
He's already hunting them. Yeah,
he's
hunting them. He's got them on the scope. So after Artax meets his demise, unfortunately. Atreyu runs into... He keeps going to the Swamp of Sorrows. He's very determined not to give up on this quest because he knows how important it is.
And he has to meet Morla.
Yeah, Morla. He runs into Morla, which is... initially, he believes it's a mountain.
Yes.
Okay, because it's the back of a turtle, like a humongous turtle. So he believes he's run into this huge mountain, which was the very first huge object that he's run into in the Swamp of Sorrows. And all of a sudden, this big turtle head comes out, and it's Morla. Morla is basically a really wise turtle, but he's not as wise as people think because he's easily manipulated, and you'll see how. But
he's so sad. He just doesn't... He gave up on life, basically. He starts off every single sentence with... Not that it matters. He's kind of like Eeyore.
Yeah, he's lost hope. He's lost hope, all hope because he knows that the Nothing is destroying.
And he doesn't care.
And he does know that he doesn't really know what the solution to the Nothing is, but he does know that someone who does know the solution to the Nothing, but he sees the solution as impossible to achieve.
And he doesn't even care about it. Like, that's what he always says. I don't care. But he's like,
Atreyu
I know.
runs into him, and Atreyu is like, how can I save the Empress? What do I need to do? He's like, he's reluctant to tell him. He's like, I just don't care at this point. Let's just succumb to the Nothing.
Care? I don't care.
And allow it just to overtake us. This is a lost battle.
Yeah.
And Atreyu keeps on messing with him and finally convinces him to tell him what he knows or what
he's kind of just the way he switches around the way he asks. It's kind of like he was like, okay, he says, well, if you don't care, then why don't you tell me?
Yeah.
That's how
he winds up telling him that he doesn't know the answer, which is true, but he does tell him that the Southern Oracle knows the answer to save Fantasia and the childlike Empress from the Nothing.
But the rub...
rub is, he's like, well, that's the answer, but it's 10,000 miles away.
In the swampland, in that swamp.
Yeah, and they're in the swamp, which basically is just like literally quicksand that you're just walking through. It's really, you're knee deep in sand, and you're just like,
he's just trudging through. So he goes on this journey or this walk. And he's given up. He is totally given up.
Well, he actually, he goes to the end because he's a warrior. So he's like, well, I know it's an unattainable goal. I cannot walk 10,000 miles. It would take me 8 months to do that as a human. So I'm just gonna go as far as I can go before I die, and I pass out, and I literally I'm gonna go down with the ship.
But
And that's what happens. So he keeps walking and walking and walking, and as he starts getting tired
this
and
is what
losing
I was
faith in
getting
himself,
excited. This is what I
he
was getting
starts
excited.
sinking into the quicksand,
And-
just like Falcor. I mean, sorry, not Falcor. Just like Artax.
Yes.
And
He's almost not going to give up, but
he's
gonna give up.
like almost down to his chin in the quicksand. He's about to go down.
And he sees the light shine, and he looks up, and it's the luck dragon Falcor to save the day.
Falcor.
Oh, I love Falcor. He's so cute.
Yeah,
So he
Falcor is a
comes
really cool
right before
character.
Gamork is going to, eat him. Right before
He
Gamork.
is the luck dragon. He's a like light pink,
Beautiful.
dog-looking dragon, and
I know.
he's
You know
very
what?
friendly.
I was
going to
ask you earlier, do dragons have ears?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay. Because
Yes, they do. They're-
because Falcor's got these ears that are floppy like a
Yeah,
dog. And
he's
they're
more
so
like
cute.
he's like half dog, half dragon. He's meant to look
Right.
like a really cute dog. He
He
looks like
looks-
my dog.
Yeah, he does. Like that's what I said. I'm like,
I have a Labradoodle that looks just like his name is Wookie, but I should have named him Falcor.
yeah, that's what I was like when I saw his dog for the first time. I'm like, wait, you call this dog Wookie, but it looks like Falcor? Like,
and
what
then
is
my
wrong
other
with-
dog looks like a Wookie.
And then his other dog, who's named Orko, looks
Orko
like
after,
Wookie because he
He-Man
looks just like
character.
he just looks like a Wookie. He's all brown and curly. Anyways,
Yeah.
So he just named the dog wrong.
yeah, so Falcor is this really cool character.
So
who-
cute.
Who saves Atreyu from the Swamps of Sorrows.
the best thing that you totally missed about the rock biter, about Gamork, and about Falcor.
we're gonna get into that. I didn't miss that. I know what you're gonna say. Trust me. Yeah, I didn't miss that.
There's one thing that they all have in common.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say.
they were all voiced by the same guy, which we're gonna talk to. I'm not done with that because I haven't mentioned any of the actors yet, so I'm gonna mention him later.
Oh, okay.
I'm more talking about the story right now, but we're gonna wrap it up with that soon. So anyway,
Not soon.
so
but-
Falcor picks up Atreyu in the Swamp of Sorrows,
Mm-hmm.
and he takes them almost all the way to the Southern Oracle, which is 10,000 miles away. He takes them to this little mountain which houses these two like dwarves, right? They're
little
like
goblins.
goblin dwarf things, and
They're
they're
little
really nice
goblins.
guys. One of them's a scientist, and his wife, who makes the nastiest
She's
shit.
a witch,
She makes some nasty shit out of
and
worms,
I like it.
and
I like that she's a witch.
she got some buck ass teeth. Like,
yeah,
you know.
but she's a witch, and she makes potions and stuff. So he's a scientist, but she's the smart one.
Yeah, so they get there, and he happens coincidentally to be an expert on the Southern Oracle.
Oh yeah,
He
is.
knows everything there is to know about the Southern
What
Oracle.
is it? My speciality.
Yeah, it's my speciality.
Speciality.
Yes, he's awesome.
My
I love that old guy.
scientific speciality.
My scientific, yeah, he's really cool. The old guy's super cool. So anyway, he tells Atreyu that the Southern Oracle is right down the road down there, but it's not as easy to get through as you think because the Southern Oracle can sense
It
whether you
knows.
believe in your own worth.
It reads your heart. That's what it says. It doesn't, there was somebody going up and they're all in armor and everything, but it doesn't matter what you wear or what you use to protect yourself. It listens to your heart. So if you don't believe in yourself, you're a dead man.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't believe in yourself, you don't have belief in you, then the Southern Oracle barbecues you, blows you away with some laser shit coming out of her eyes.
Which actually is a great kind of metaphor for, life.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in
Then
yourself,
you get your ass kicked.
You are going, they're going
They're gonna iron you out.
Yeah, you're going to get eaten up.
Yeah,
You're going to
exactly.
get eaten up if you don't believe
If you
in
get
yourself.
thrown to the wolves will swallow you.
Yeah, so always believe in yourself.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's another moral of the movie. So
Yeah.
and the story, it's
Very-
in order for him to get across the Southern Oracle, he needs to believe in himself so that they will be allowed to get through the first gate because the Southern Oracle
Is
has
three.
two. It's actually
There's
three
three
gates.
parts, yeah.
It's a 3-gate place. So in the first gate. The very first gate only allows people who believe that they're worthy of
And they're
themselves.
so cool. The statues, I have to mention the
They're
statues.
beautiful.
They're awesome. So they have
Beautiful.
they're
Yeah.
sphinx. They're two sphinx with these half crescent moon shapes on their head. They're just beautiful. And
Yeah,
I always
beautiful.
just gorgeous.
They got these wings too.
They're
They got
beautiful
those
wings. Oh, and their eyes. So they if
Yeah,
your
and the eyes light up. And if you see the eyes opening and lighting up, that is not a good
You did.
sign.
You did.
Yeah, so this one dude tries to go through it and they blow his ass up into
Barbecue.
fucking like 100 pieces.
Totally.
So it's not a good thing.
All of a sudden, because Trey was like, I'm gonna go, and everything. And like midway through,
they're trying to talk
he
him out of
sees
it.
the dead guy, and then all of a sudden, that's
He
when
believes that, he starts
all of
losing
a sudden,
confidence.
he totally loses confidence.
And
in
Bastian,
himself.
the guy reading the book, is like, be confident.
Oh, I just got the chills.
Be
He's
confident.
like, courage. Yeah, be courage. Right?
Yeah,
Courageous.
because it only takes a
Confidence.
second
That's what
of
he says.
not believing
Yeah.
in yourself, and that's just because he saw the face of the barbecued skull.
And got scared. Like, oh
He
no.
got scared, of course, like anybody else would. So he
he's like,
he lost faith for a minute.
just
So
run.
the Southern Oracle starts opening her eyes, like to
Run,
fuck him up.
run. And everybody's saying run. Bastion's
And like
saying
Bastion,
run.
everybody's like, run! Even you watching the movie,
You're
you're
like,
like,
run!
run, Atreyu!
Watch it 50 million times. We watch it every other day, and we're still screaming.
You're still
at
fucking
You're
screaming,
just
run! Yeah, you don't want Atreyu to go down. He's come so fucking far to go down like that. But anyway, long story short,
get excited.
He makes it.
He makes it.
He makes it across the first gate.
Because he runs.
And then the old guy's like, oh, the second test is the worst. He doesn't know.
Oh, you do that really good.
Yeah.
You did that really good. You sound just like him. You're such a nerd.
Anyway.
I love it. Okay, so he goes and he sees a mirror and he sees Bastion, but that blah, 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 blah. But then he goes through this mirror thing. I know. He goes through this mirror thing and he sees Bastion, and Bastion kind of freaks out, because Atreyu is looking at him and he just gets all confused and stuff. But anyways, he gets to the final stage and they tell him like the dumbest shit. Oh, I said the S word.
Yeah, there
But
you go.
they do.
That's her. The first time she curses. Yeah, so anyway, he makes it through the second gate, makes him face himself.
Yeah.
Which in the movie, it's really sweet what they do because they make him actually see Bastion.
Right.
Who's the kid reading the book. So all of a sudden
Bastion.
he sees him and he's like, who's this fucking kid I'm seeing? And Bastion freaks out because he knows he's looking at Atreyu, who's this kid he's been reading about the entire time. So it's just a really awesome moment in the movie where he gets to see Atreyu's face for the very first time.
Yeah, like reality and imagination.
Yeah, he's been
collide
reading
right
about
there.
Atreyu for a while now, and he gets to see him, and then he freaks out so hard that he throws the fucking book across the room.
Oh, wait, let me stop right here and make a comment. Every single time we watch this movie, we always say the same thing. Why did Bastion go up to the attic of school where there's all cobwebs and a dirty mattress and a dirty blanket, and he's eating his little school lunch up there, and he doesn't go home? Like, school gets let out, and he's still hanging out in this dirty, dirty attic of school.
The place where he reads the book. Why don't he just go fucking home and lie in bed with some nachos?
Every single time we say that, we see the movie, we're
I don't
like,
get it.
why is he hanging
And
out
all
at
he's got
school?
is like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to
And an
last him like
apple.
and an apple to last him the entire time.
The entire
that he's in
time.
there.
That's why he takes one bite. And
He takes one bite
and looks at
not yet. There's a
"Not
long way
yet.
to go.
We got a long way to go. But I never understand like why he's hanging out at school instead of sitting at home in his bedroom reading the story. But anyways, so he
so
gets
let's
to
get
the final.
He gets to the second gate. He sees Bastion. He gets to the last gate.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So in the very last gate, he is like, okay,
Comes
I've made
back.
it to the end, and what do I need to do?
He comes back to, and it's a Southern Oracle.
Yeah, which is the
again.
blue version of these statues, and it's beautiful.
Sparkly.
The way it looks, and it's almost like they have stars like in outer space behind them. And
It's very extraterrestrial feeling.
he asked them like,
Celestial.
what do I need to do
Yeah.
to save the childlike empress and Fantasia from the nothing? And then the Southern Oracle responds with, you need to give the childlike empress needs a new name.
And he's like, what?
he's
I
like,
could do that.
What? My horse died for this
No,
shit.
he didn't say that yet. He yelled at the child like, okay. So anyways, he's like, I could give her the name. I can give her any name she wants. And they're like, no. It has to be a person of beyond Fantasia. That was a Southern Oracle talking.
Yeah, that was the Southern Oracle talking, by the way. But yeah, they tell him no, only a child from beyond the realms of
Beyond
Fantasia
the realm of
can
Fantasia.
give the childlike empress a new name and save Fantasia.
And
so
he's
of
like,
course
I
they're
don't
talking
like-
about Bastion, who's reading the story.
He's like, so I have to go beyond Fantasia. Okay, come on, Falcor, let's go. It's a beyond Fantasia. But in the meantime, the nothing is coming.
And nothing is coming. Yeah,
And it starts.
There's not a
just-
whole lot of time left.
No, there's no time. So basically, yeah, it just goes to hell in the handbasket.
So yeah, so he goes, okay, so he realizes what he has to do. He believes he's failed because he has no idea that Bastian is the one reading the book. So,
he
long
doesn't
story
know.
short,
He doesn't know he knows an actual human. He knows somebody that's beyond Fantasia.
Right.
So he goes head, with Falcor to go. They're looking, and he goes, "Hey, do you think that the ivory
well, the nothing
tower
has already obliterated most of Fantasia by this time.
Yeah,
he's
it's gone.
on Falcor, and he's like. Basically,
They're flying between
there's like rocks
meteors.
flying that are pieces of Fantasia.
Yeah, meteors. And he's like, "You think we're gonna run into the ivory tower?"
Yeah.
So
Do you
he
think the
asks
ivory tower is still
Orin-
standing?
So he asked the Orin to lead them there.
Yeah, to the ivory tower. And then eventually, of course, Falcor makes it to the ivory tower with Atreyu, and he runs into the childlike empress.
And she is so pretty.
Beautiful.
She's so pretty.
She's one of the prettiest,
Little
actresses
girl,
I've ever
she's
seen in
so
my life.
pretty. She just looks so
She's very pretty.
angelic looking. These beautiful big eyes.
Yeah, she'll make your fucking like as a kid. I was like, I didn't even like girls at the time, and I was melting. I was like,
oh, she's so pretty.
she's
and
very pretty.
Yeah, and it was just she was just very, very pretty, very angelic.
Yeah.
And then the way she talks, she's got this little I think she's got like a
She's
nice
got
little
this little
accent.
tiny, very, very sweet voice.
sweet voice
She
and a
reminds me of
whisper
the wife
like
in All in
this.
the Family.
She
She
Yeah,
very, very sweet. Not like she doesn't talk anything like that, but it's
No,
just
I was
the
gonna
tone,
say,
the
she doesn't
tone.
sound nothing
No,
like her.
nothing. No, not the.
Yeah,
not,
Archie.
no, not the.
Archie.
Just how nice she is and how submissive she is.
She does. She was like, the way she talked was like a child. You have to bring a child from, like it's just.
Yeah, you guys have to see it in order to understand
love
what we're
her.
talking
She's
about.
such
But
a-
she's just got this really sweet
voice.
very beautiful voice. And
And,
Atreyu, of course, he shows up and he's like,
Loses his
I've gone
temper.
through fucking hell
Like, what the F?
and I've failed.
I
I'm sorry,
lost
but
my horse. What the heck do
and
you
she's
want?
like, no, you actually haven't failed. She tells him like, without everything that you went through, we wouldn't have been able to bring the earthling child here. And
he's like,
she's
what
like,
are
what are
you
you talking about?
talking
Where's
about?
Who the fuck is this earthling
And it's like,
child?
you brought him with you.
Yeah.
And Bastion's like, what are they talking about? And
No
she's
idea.
like, he's already got a name picked.
Yeah.
Because earlier in the movie, Bastion's like putting the thing away and his mother had passed away. And he's like, well, I would be able to. I have a name, and he says that
Yeah.
he's like,
And
my mom
Bastion
had the,
Bastion's freaking out the entire time that she is describing
Talking
him.
about him.
She's basically saying,
Oh.
"No, you brought the Earthling child with you. He's been with you every
oh,
single
I just
time."
got the chills. Look at it.
And he goes, and you know what she also tells him, which is
He was
what
there
unlocks
in the bookstore.
No, yeah, exactly. She tells Atreyu that not only is he sharing Atreyu's story, he was there for everything Atreyu went through, including losing Artax. But she tells him that there was other people there for him when he was getting bullied and getting thrown in the trash can and do all these things. There was somebody experiencing that with Bastion.
And Bastion's
which
reading it
reveals
going,
the
wait a
Neverending
minute.
story.
And he's like, wait a minute, are they talking
Like, what in
about
the
me?
hell? They're
I got
describing everything I
bullied.
just went through.
I went to the bookstore. I know that. And so he's like, they can't be talking about me.
Yeah,
and then
he
she
cannot
finally
believe what he's listening to. He's like,
So-
they're describing everything about me, and this is crazy. I'm reading a book, and it's describing what just happened to me.
And they break that, I think it's called like the fourth wall or something.
Yeah.
And, where she finally, because he's not getting it. So she looks right into the camera and says, Bastion,
Please,
Bastion, please give me a
Save
name.
us!
Save us. And then,
and Bastion is like, finally, he accepts the fact that the
That
childlike
this is
empress
him.
is talking about him. And all he has to do is run to the window and yell out a new name for the childlike empress.
and can I yell out the name?
Go ahead. Nobody understood anything you just said.
Yeah. Did you understand anything the
No,
dude said?
that's really what it sounds like. in
That's
the
what it
movie.
says. We actually had no idea ever. I think we looked it up like last month. And I'm like, what does he name her?
What the fuck? I
and he's
didn't know until
don't-
like a
and he's-
what, like a
it was
few
like last
months
month
ago.
ago. We decided to Google it, and we're like, what the hell name
What
did
the
he
fuck
give
does
her?
he say?
So we go and
Because
there wasn't-
it's inaudible.
it's completely inaudible. It's like two things, and we couldn't. Wait, what did we think it was?
I don't fucking.
I
I never
forgot.
thought it was anything. I
I
just heard
forgot
him
we
go.
both talked.
I as a kid and even as an adult, all I heard was.
Seriously,
Never heard anything else.
Never hear right. So we Googled it, and apparently he says Moonchild.
Yes. Moonchild.
Moonchild. Moonchild. Moonchild. So
It's
now when we
crazy.
watch it back, now we can hear him say it, but it's still so inaudible. They should have
Yeah.
actually just said, I don't know. But anyways,
Anything.
it's Moonchild.
Yeah.
I guess that
He
was his
names her
mother's.
Moon-
That was his mother's
or
name.
Maybe her nickname. It can't be her fucking real name.
No, because he said,
Who the fuck names their kid Moonchild?
well,
That's
that's
her
why I
nickname.
said he must have been like Frank Zappa's kid.
Yeah, some
Moon
hippie,
unit.
some hippie LSD motherfucking kid.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
So finally, are you getting drunk?
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
I love this.
Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, that was like 15 minutes ago.
That's not
Anyway, so
facts.
so Bastion and the Empress like child are there together.
Empress like child or childlike empress? Which
Oh.
one? Because I'm confused right now. Empress like child.
the
The Empress like child.
childlike Empress, and I'm drinking water.
She's drinking water and she's saying Empress like child.
Well, this is me. You know what I mean? Anyways, so they come together and it's just them. It's a blackened room. There's nothing else that exists. And she says that, you now can wish for anything. You have all the wishes in the world.
Yeah.
All the wishes in the world.
And she also tells him if he doesn't wish,
Oh.
Fantasia's game over.
Yeah, that's right. Fantasia's over. So the more wishes you do, the more Fantasia's going to grow and the more beautiful it's going to be. And the more, so he's got to keep wishing and keep wishing. Wish that was me.
Witchy.
Wish that was me. I would have come up with so many wishes.
Mine.
So anyway, so of course, the first thing he's going to wish for is that ride on Falcor.
Hell yes.
Heck yeah.
I mean, if you guys watch Atreyu ride Falcor, you're like, damn, I
you
wish
can
I was
actually,
me.
you know what? You can put the GIF right here. You know what
The
I mean?
GIF,
The GIF
yes.
right here. Right here. Do it. Yeah, he's like this. So yeah, you could do it.
Yeah.
So on YouTube, if you want to see.
I love it.
Yeah. So we're
Anyway, long story short, why don't we get to
Yes.
the long story short? And that is that in the end,
well, Artax is alive.
everything is alive.
Everything is
Fantasia
alive.
is
But
never
the
destroyed
best-
because Bastion gives the childlike empress a new name. Thus, and then he starts making wishes, which makes Fantasia re-emerge
Yes.
in its full glory.
And the coolest thing, because you feel bad that Bastion was getting bullied in the beginning, and then he brings it full circle on those damn kids, those damn bullies, and he takes Falcor
Yeah.
and he comes
Revenge.
and he just scares the living daylights out of them. Now tell us, please, who Falcor.
I'm gonna tell you
Rockbiter-
whoever. So we're gonna get okay. So you guys, in the end of the at the very end of the movie is, of course, Bastion winds up giving childlike empress a new name, and thus reviving Fantasia. And Fantasia, everything that happened in Fantasia prior, which includes Artax dying, it includes the snail rider. The bat guy, all those guys, they succumb to the nothing. All these people are back.
Yeah, they're
Everything-
back.
It's almost like it never happened. Why? Because Bastion gave the childlike empress a new name and Fantasia, and then made a bunch of wishes, and Fantasia's back to life.
Okay, you said that already.
Fuck, man. Anyway, so let's go to the actors. Okay, so Bastion was played by a guy named Barrett Oliver, who also was in another awesome 80s movie. And I know you guys
Oh,
who
it's
are
a
my
good
80s
movie.
motherfuckers. How many 80s motherfuckers I got out there? Daryl. Do you guys remember Daryl?
And
My
it's
name
spelled.
is Daryl.
How is it spelled? It's like
Darryll.
and it's an acronym, just like
an acronym,
Vicky
yeah.
from the Wonder.
Yeah, I don't remember what it stands for at all.
I forget what it was.
But it's basically a movie about a cyborg kid who has special powers
it's a
because
cute
he's
movie.
a cyborg. It's a
cute movie.
fucking awesome
And that's the
movie.
only thing I've ever seen that kid in.
And it was popular back in the day, but it's never been. It's kind of like fell off the face of the earth. So if you guys haven't seen Daryl,
I think it's
you know
on
what, we're gonna
Tubi.
fucking do a podcast on Daryl.
Anyways, it's on Tubi. It's on Tubi. You'll find
Yeah,
that. And
you
you
love-
also find
It is-
Neverending
it's Daryl on
Story.
Tubi?
Yeah, remember that's where we watched
No,
it.
that's not what we watched. I brought the disc.
Stop. It's on Tubi. Anyways, and then I think the Neverending Story is on Prime if anybody wants to see it.
Yeah,
It's
is.
always available on Prime. Now, forgot his name. The dad, McRaney. Gerald McRaney.
Gerald McDonald.
Gerald McRaney. Now he didn't recognize him at first, but I recognized him. Would you stop?
He eats McNuggets.
Oh my God.
He likes barbecue sauce.
Anyways, I recognize him, and we'll recognize him. He'll put his picture here. But he was in Simon and Simon, a show that whatever. My grandparents used to watch it,
and me to watch that.
Me and my sister used to watch it with my grandparents, so it was a nice show. And he was also in Major Dad, which my parents used to watch. We used to watch with our family. I know. Anyways, so he was also in a lot of TV shows. Then there is Noah Hathaway.
Yeah, Noah Hathaway.
He played Atreyu. Now, what happened with him that we just heard on kind of like a little documentary thing that they're doing, but they're
releasing a new documentary, by the way, called Life After the Neverending Story. It's not out yet. I'm dying to fucking see it.
Yeah, because we were just Googling it, and I saw the trailer for it
on YouTube that you guys can check out.
Mm-hmm. But, and so Noah Hathaway says that when they were in rehearsal for one of the scenes, that he was riding on one of the horses, and something spooked the horse. The horse went to go jump over a fence, didn't make the fence, so Noah fell off of it, and the horse fell on top of him.
Yeah, and they showed his X-rays too, with like a bunch of screws.
He broke his
the same kind of stuff on my leg. We'll talk about that later.
He broke the lower bones in his vertebrae from it.
Yeah.
He was only 12 years old. So
spleen, right? I think he busted his spleen.
So they said that he has been in and out of hospitals. And he's our age.
Yeah.
About
or
our
older,
age.
No?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he might be a little older than us.
So he's in and out of doctors all the time. That's what I read. And he owns a tattoo parlor now, and he looks.
Yeah, he looks all punk rock.
Punk rock? I would say he looks like a crackhead. Sorry, Noah Hathaway, but you do.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I mean, he does. I mean, when you see him,
he does. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Listen. We don't want to get into judging. We don't want to judge.
Oh, I judge.
Absolutely not. He looks a little bit fucked up, like he's been through some shit.
Yeah, whatever. This is our podcast. I could say whatever the hell I want to say about who
you can, and that's why it's your podcast.
Yeah,
go for it.
You know what? I don't think he does any drugs, but he looks like a crackhead. I
don't think so. No, I don't know. Maybe he's been through some shit, man. Listen, Noah Hathaway.
He looks like he's been through. I don't care
what you've been through. You made a great fucking movie. And I like you for it.
Yeah, take a shower though, dude.
Yeah.
Take a shower. I mean, I've seen the pictures. We Googled him. We looked at the images. And he looks like he needs to take a shower. Oh, and then when he was doing the interview for this documentary, he was saying the F word a whole lot. And I didn't really like that.
Unnecessary F word.
Well, I didn't really. But the way he was talking, I was just kind of like, dude, Alan Oppenheimer is
Let's
doing
talk
the
about
same.
Barrett Oliver, who played Bastion. Though that motherfucker looks like Rick Rubin right now. If you guys have ever seen Rick Rubin, who looks like a Zen. He's got the long fucking beard. He's half bald and shit. He's got long hair on the sides.
Yeah, he looks like a long haired just hippie.
He looks like Rick Rubin. Like that's the best way I can describe him. Look up Barrett Oliver on Google and you'll see what I mean. Barrett Oliver looks nothing like what he looked
I don't care about being judgy at all, but they didn't age well.
No, he didn't age well.
They both didn't age well.
No, none of the two. Like Noah Hathaway, look, Noah.
But I like you, Noah. But the childlike
fucking like you didn't age well, bro. I shouldn't have aged better than you. I've had a rougher life than you.
You're so funny. And the childlike Empress, she looks pretty still. She looks pretty, but she
does.
She just aged.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, she's.
But
so anyways, Stronach is.
Anyways,
I'm sorry if I fucked your name up. Okay, I mean Ravio.
Anyways, Alan Oppenheimer.
I've met, talked to, and I have his autograph. He was Skeletor in the Masters of the Universe. But this guy was...
And he was not only Skeletor, he was Man of Arms.
Man at Arms, Cringer.
Cringer.
If you guys are familiar with He-Man and the Master of the Universe from Filmation in the 80s.
He did so many of
He did a bunch of the voices, and he also did like Filmation Ghostbusters. He was Primeval. He's just a badass, and I
He
love
did the
this guy.
he did
He's 90 some odd
Transformers.
years old, and he
He
just
was
had a birthday.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
He was Cobra Commander.
Everything.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't no Cobra Commander. That wasn't him.
Oh.
But no,
Who was-
no.
Oh, I'm thinking Transformers movie.
Yeah.
Not the. Okay. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
he actually did. In this movie, in the Neverending Story, he did the Rock Biter, which is that really cool character we talked about. And then he did Gamork, which was the guy who was trying to stop Atreyu. And he also did, of course, our favorite fucking Falcor.
He did Falcor, which when I was a kid, well, actually just up until like, I don't know, a year ago, I thought somebody did the voice of somebody did a different person did a voice for each of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was all the same guy because they all sound differently.
Yeah.
And they
No,
don't
he
and none
was-
of them sound like
Alan
Skeletor.
Oppenheimer is an amazing voice
He's
talent.
got great voice. Yeah.
I met him, and when I'll never forget when I met him, he completely went into the Skeletor character from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
He does it with a smile.
For my kids, and he went into this, you know, like kind of like his face completely changed. Here on your asshole, asshole.
You're stupid.
Kind of like that, you know. It's like he's an awesome guy, and I love him to
he's
death,
an
and
amazing voiceover man.
God bless Alan Oppenheimer.
He did so many movies. Just looking him up, he just did a lot of voiceovers.
He's awesome.
So
yeah.
the life after the Neverending Story, we really want to catch. The only thing we caught
There
was
is a documentary.
We only caught the trailer.
It's called Life After the Neverending Story, and it's we've been looking for it for a while, but it's still apparently
You're cracking me up over here.
not released.
Tequila Jimmy is out. Tequila Jimmy
Life
is out.
After the Neverending Story.
So I want to see
Looks
that.
fucking awesome. There's a trailer for it on YouTube that you guys can catch. And if I'm slurring my speech, I apologize.
And now it says that it's only coming on a Blu-ray first or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know why they would do
and
that.
it's
They should just stream it somewhere. I'll pay for it.
They have it like when we saw it online.
I'd buy it.
It was in pounds. They listed it in pounds.
Yeah, in British pounds.
So
Which
it's
fine, I'll fucking pay British pounds for
and
it.
so they also if you think about it, it's a brand new documentary.
Yeah,
and
it's literally not out yet. Like supposedly it was going to be out in this month, April.
This month in April,
2024. But I don't.
So
see
it would be
anywhere.
perfect time because it would be then the 40-year anniversary for it, which is maybe why they're doing it. And
Yeah.
40 years is such a long time. I didn't realize it. So 1984, 2024, 40 years, and they're just putting out the documentary, which
I can't
probably
wait to see
means
it.
this movie is absolutely timeless.
All I know is in the trailer for the documentary, we have Noah Hathaway saying how one of the horses during rehearsal broke his vertebrae and shit. Which
You know,
is
we said
crazy.
that already.
I know,
So,
but
and-
it's a really cool story.
So, anyways, they also have in Germany, in Munich, they have a place that's kind of like akin to
Yeah, it's like
the
going to
Universal
Universal Studios theme parks.
Studios. So they have the real Falcor from
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
And
And a lot of other ones, like they have the bat, they have the snail, the racing snail.
The Rock.
Bavaria
Fighter.
Studios in Munich, Germany is kind of like visiting the Universal Studios Florida or Universal Studios Hollywood theme parks. You go in and you can like kind of experience things from movies. And one of the big things in Munich is the Neverending Story. And they have the original Falcor puppet,
And you can
the
ride
original
them.
snail puppet,
Don't they-
and the
it is a
original
ride?
bat puppet.
In a ride? A Falcor ride too?
Well, you could just ride it and take pictures. I don't know if they have a ride. That would be awesome if they
I know,
do
I have to
anything
look
in
up.
Munich.
I would
if
love
they
to
have
go.
that shit.
I want to see the real Falcor.
So Falcor, of course, is still alive.
yes.
He lives with us. And,
in our hearts.
in our hearts.
It's just like Santa Claus because I believe in Santa Claus. I will always believe in Santa Claus, always.
This movie
So,
has a timeless
I will-
appeal. I believe this movie doesn't matter who you are, what age you are. If you give it a chance and you actually watch it without judgment, you really, really, really enjoy it.
Yes.
I really believe that. And
It just gives it is a strong thing,
and it's to the point.
power
Like
of the
one beautiful thing about
imagination.
this movie, and I don't know if you agree, is that it doesn't drag.
No.
It goes from one point to the other to the other to the other. Like there's never a point where you're sitting there like,
No, there's so many stages to the movie because you go from, Bastion's portion to the rock biter portion to the sorrows.
Yeah.
To it's just like it's all these stages.
There's really not a point where the movie drags for me. At least I've never like I could literally watch.
We watch it all the time.
The entire movie and be into it and not feel like I'm like, okay, come on. Get done.
Yeah, I never feel, except for the part where Artax dies. I don't have to I don't feel like fast forwarding it. Like, oh, let's skip this part. I don't feel like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, except for Artax, I can totally skip that part every time.
I totally.
I swear to God, I don't like that part at all. Just the way it's so sad.
Anyway, guys, I would love to have you guys check this movie out and comment as to what you thought of it. Even if you have never seen it and it's your first time seeing it, go watch it. Tell us.
Yes, leave in
what
the comments.
You think of it.
We would love to hear what you guys think.
Experience the movie and keep exploring the realms of fantasy and never
stop believing in magic. I love magic.
Right.
I love that. Do that again. Right. I love it.
One more time?
One more.
Go.
So fun. But never. I believe in magic.
Yes.
I believe. It's kind of like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. You just have to believe.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
anyways,
I totally get it.
Thank you guys
so much for joining us on this adventure.
It's a wonderful adventure.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, this is
his favorite childhood movie.
Not one of it. It is my favorite.
This is his favorite childhood movie. That's why I got him the book.
I love this movie so much. I have the fucking tattoo on my arm. If that doesn't say anything, when I rot.
Yes. He's going to rot.
After I'm gone, I'm going to rot with this tattoo.
He's so silly. So next episode is going to be very exciting. So we've been talking about films.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to have a special guest on the next episode.
Yes.
It's one of my Twitter buddies. His name is Mike Satan.
But it doesn't spell it like Satan.
No, not like Satan.
But it's cool.
He's actually the perfect guy to have on the show for the next episode because he is so well versed in our next topic, which is the master of the macabre.
The master.
Stephen King.
He is now just an amazing writer.
I have read so many Stephen King books.
Now you said your friend Mike Satan, he's read all.
He's read a lot more of the newer later stuff. I think than I have.
Yeah,
I don't know if he has. We'll find fucking out. But I know that he's going to be a great addition to the next podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to having him on the show.
And we're going to be talking about the movies, the books, and everything, all Stephen King. And we love Stephen King.
Yes.
So we hope you
Stephen
will
King is
come back
man.
and check out the next episode, which will probably be like around the same time. What, a week and a half, 2 weeks we do?
A couple of weeks. We'll have it. We'll have it up for you guys soon. But you don't want to miss this next episode.
Nope.
He's going to be on the show. We love you, wrong time.
Subscribe and like.
Subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you again.
Oh my God. You're going to drive me nuts tonight, aren't you?
I am the designated fucking driver. That's fucking right.